Hi there, welcome to Soccer Player's Drill Creator Tool, where you can make training sessions or formations to your team in any sport. In this demo, we were to run through this tool and show you how you can use it as a coach for training sessions and to prepare your team for a game. Let's look at all of the features. On the top left-hand side is the selection tool. And then below that, we have the edit tool and then a set of drawing tools. So the first one there is a dash line. Next, we have a straight line, dribble, curve, and then a freehand tool. If we click on any of those a second time, it changes the color of the line to green, and then to red, and then to blue. And you can do that for any of these along here. It just saves you changing the color of each individual line. If you need to, then you can do that by clicking on the edit and then clicking on the color selection on the top. That allows us to fine-tune it a little bit more. Then we can change the size on here, and we can change the end of the line to an X. The T, so that's the option. So underneath the drawing options, we have the text option. We click onto the screen. It allows us to add text. And then we can change the color also if we wish. We could rotate it, and we can change the size of it as well. Underneath the text area is also some drawing tools. The first one is a square, then we have a circle, and then an ellipse, and then a polygon tool. So we need to click on the screen to create the outline of the shape, and then connect the last two dots to complete the shape. Again, with these tools, if you click on them twice, then you change the color of the shape. So you can change that without having to go into the edit options, but you can do. If you click on the edit button there and then click onto the tool, you can change the outline of these. You can remove the outline, so you can change the color. Let's change it to a stronger color that you can see. And then for here, you can also have a hatch. So if there is maybe a danger zone, then you can add that onto the screen there. So you can tell players to focus on this area if you have something like that. On the bottom of the tool, we have the option to add on players. If we just click and drag, that allows us to add on a player. We can put in the number of the player that can be toggled on or off. And then the name can be added here, and that will appear underneath the player once we toggle it on. The color can be changed there, and the shirt can be rotated, and then the size of the player can be adjusted. We also have the option to turn off the shirt mode and just make it a circle, and then another option to highlight the player, and then we can make the highlight any option and any color that we wish. And we can even add on a direction arrow. There's a section here for notes, so if you add on some notes for a player, that stays with that player, but it gets added down here underneath. So you could collect all of those for your different players. If we add on any different player now and the blue team, you could do the same for this player also. So that will also get added down here for the player selection. Next along, we have the equipment. So the first one is a ball, then a cone, then a flag, a ladder, a mannequin, a pole, a rebounder, a mini goal, and a full-size goal. And again, if we want to edit any of those, we can click on the edit option there, move it to one side. We can rotate it, choose the color, and choose the size. If we want to delete it, then we can click on it and then click delete. We can undo up here. We can also use the shortcuts. So if we select on an item and click D on the keypad, then that deletes the item, and U goes for undo. These options are down here. So the keyboard shortcuts. So we had M for move, E for edit, D for delete, E for undo, R for redo, E for play, Hat for frame, and Enter to close a menu. So to close a menu, as an example, if we click on the item and then click Enter, that clicks OK quickly for us, so we don't have to click the button. Also, the selection tool that changes colors. The first color, turquoise, when we select all of the items can be moved. If we click it again, it changes to blue. If we try and select all of the items, that just selects the players. Then only the players move. You select it again, it turns to red. And then we selected anything there. Then that selects only the equipment and the text. The next one allows us to select the drawn items. So we can edit and adjust quickly without having to select individual things. On the top, we have options for changing the fields. So if we're doing training sessions, then we can move the fields in different positions. So it can be halves, penalties, if we want it to focus on those, quarters, thirds. If we've got groups, we can do training, and then even a five-a-side field. Next along, we also have a grid mode. So when we're moving players, to move them in a nice order, a nice position, to make it easier, it looks a lot neater, that will click things into place so the players on the equipment. We can turn it off once we've got everything lined up, and we can also change the color of the field. It's something a bit more traditional, of a darker green. And next one along, we can add stripes on. We can add checks on. We can also have a blueprint mode, so that shows the fields as a white mode, and so that highlights the players in different ways, so they've got a black outline around them. We can turn it off. The next one along, I just quickly press that. That changes all of the players to T-shirt mode and back to circle. The next one here is the formations. So if we go up to the top right and we click clear all, so we can work on a formation. If we wanted to set up a formation for our team, we could quickly select one of these and then press on the home button. That brings up a team to the left, and after their way, you can do the same for them. You can change the color of the team before you add them on. And I want to choose the formation, for instance, and then add them on to the field. We can undo and redo here. And then if we want it to download any of the images that we've created so far, then we click on the download button there, and then add the name at the top, select a resolution. For the pro users, they can select it's 8K, and then there's options to include some details, watermark, branding for pro users. And then also, if you wanted to upload a logo to the bottom of the drill, then you could do that. Then you just click download, and that downloads to your computer or your mobile. So back to the screen. On the right hand side, we have the animation options. We need to add one to put our first frame on, and then we need to move the players to create a second frame. So when we move the players, we add on a second frame. Then we can click play, and then they move from the first frame to the second frame. So you can do that for gameplay or for training sessions. And then you can add on as many as you want. You can change the speed of the playback. or you can move them into position. We can move them through the frames. Now down here, that's onion mode. So that shows the position where they started from and where they're going back to. And then you have the delete option for the delete in the frames. And then also the record mode. So when you click that, you name the drill at the top, selects the resolution, and then some options here, and you click record. Then it goes through the frames and records the session. So you can download the video on the notes, and then that gives it to you on your computer. Okay, so that's the animation. And if we clear the screen at the top, clear it all, and then at the top we can also change the field for different sports. So the first one there is all sports, so we can use it as training sessions or drills for any sport. The next one down is American football, and we can add on players onto here. Obviously it'll be a little bit different for the formations, but we can move them around. And if the next one down is baseball, we also have basketball, cricket, flag football, which is growing in popularity. Let's change that to the selection tool. The next one down is handball. And there we have hockey, also ice hockey. And then below that, lacrosse, netball. And obviously you can choose the color of these if you wanted to. Below netball is paddle. Obviously there's not that many players on paddle, so we can clear the screamer. So let's add on some players for paddle. We select on Matt and on Quick for there. And then next down we have pickleball. Below pickleball is rugby. After rugby is the soccer field that we saw. And then we have softball. And tennis. So you can change the color there to a bit brighter. We have volleyball. And below that we have water polo also. So you can see how many different sports you can use this tool for and how many different options you've got. It's a great all-round tool for creating your sessions or creating formations. So check it out now on Soccer Blade, Duo Creator